Yeah, kid! Welcome everybody back to another episode of the Handsome Homebuyer Podcast. I am your host, Charles, aka the Handsome Homebuyer, aka Captain Permit, aka...
El Judío Maravilloso.
That was decent.
That was good.
That was decent.
That was relatively Puerto Rican.
You know who's better than decent? Captain Permit. 516-513-8838. Captain Permit is on fire right now. Huge thank you to everybody out there, realtors, attorneys, builders, you name it. We're doing all kinds of crazy stuff, from commercial to residential, from decks to basements to offices, you name it, we're doing it coast to coast, and I mean Long Island coast to coast, not the boroughs yet. I'm not ready to dip my toe in there, but you know it's coming, right? You know it's coming. 516-513-8838. If you have a house that smells like cat pee, commercial property, anything real estate related that you want to sell quickly and with a good time, I might add, I want to buy it. 516-777-SOLD. Big week in the world of Handsome Homebuyer. A lot going on. We closed on our 8-unit apartment building. Working on another 5-unit deal right now. Got a land deal to build a nice house yesterday. Closed on a different property in Port Jeff Station, which is very, very, very cool house. I'm very excited about that. Tons of stuff going on. Big meeting later on today with my man Brian Karp. 144 houses sold in a year. Huge thank you to him. I'm down 6 pounds since Monday. Intermittent fasting. Really excited about that. Huge. But let's talk about today's guest. So today's guest, this is like a little bit of like a role reversal flip scenario, right? I don't really know who's running the cameras right now. It's like the phantom cameraman. So today's guest, obviously we know, Latin heartthrob. What you didn't know, former, or I guess you never a former, you're always forever, a professional breakdancer.
Yes, that's true.
Can we, I know you, now we edit this because we're on another level. We're video, as before when I was just like bootlegging it, not knowing what I was doing. Can we splice in, you know what? Cue the video of Matt Rodriguez doing some crazy helicopter shit. Amazing social media content creating guru. He is basically the mastermind behind what we're doing here, right? Matt Rodriguez.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm popping your podcast cherry right now.
You are popping my podcast cherry.
This is huge.
This is actually my first time on a podcast.
Yeah?
So outside of my own, because I have my own podcast.
What's your podcast? And
it's just called The Matt Rodriguez Show.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How do people tune into that shit?
Anywhere podcasts are available, Spotify, Anchor.
It's called The Matt Rodriguez Show?
The Matt Rodriguez Show.
And what do you talk about on The Matt Rodriguez Show? Because I haven't actually listened to The Matt Rodriguez Show.
I talk about just what it's like, my experiences as a creative business owner.
Okay.
You know, because I shoot weddings, I shoot, I do personal branding, obviously what we're doing here. And just like the ins and outs and the ups and downs of having that type of business. So I love business, so I try. That's like a constant thing on my mind. So I'm always just talking about how that relates to, what I do, because a lot of creatives aren't good at business and they don't understand business. So it's kind of me giving advice based on things that I learned and things that I've just picked up along the way.
Which is cool, which is valuable, because I think there's a lot of business owners that are out there that are like, I'm in this situation, how do I handle it? It's cool to be able to, reference somebody or hear it before it happens, and then when it happens to you, they're like, oh, this is how Matt Rodriguez dealt with it, and it turned out this way. So I'm going all in. It's kind of like I'm trying to do this. I'm putting these trying to put these three parcels together to build an apartment building, right? And I don't know where the hell I heard this from, but Trump pulled off this crazy thing with air rights back in the day where he had I don't know, do you know how air rights work?
Not exactly. Can you explain?
All right. So in the city, you can sell air rights on your building. Like if you're allowed to go up, I'll keep it simple, 50 stories and your building is only 10, you could sell the air rights, but there's like rules. It has to be someone that's touching you. So if you have a building here and you want to build a building over here and all these people have air rights, they have to be transferred down to one another to get to you. It's a chain. So instead of negotiating with each of them like separately, Trump's like, listen, all you guys get together, come up with a number for the air rights, like how much is going to be per buildable square foot or per FAR it's called, and I'll pay it. So he wasn't like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like fighting with each person. You guys come up with something, one number, I'll pay it. I lost the... Oh, yeah, I know what the point of this was. The point is, I pulled that shit off yesterday. Well, at least I'm trying to pull it off yesterday to put it together. Let's see how it goes, because I heard of that story. So now people can go on the Matt Rodriguez show, hear about something that went on.
That's actually very creative of him, I would say, you know.
You just gave me the look of, like, that was like a big budget movie with a storyline that went nowhere. Like,
no,
Charles, you just fluffed that up for nothing.
No, that wasn't... I'm saying, like... What he did, that was creative in terms of business. And
he's a smart dude.
Yeah,
I mean, love, hate him, political, not political, I don't know. I don't have a TV. I don't know what the fuck's going on. But the point is, I mean, the guy's, he's a smart guy. I mean, he was very successful, TV, this, that, the other thing. I mean, he's an interesting dude.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like him, but I think he's done some things. So
I don't know.
Have a certain level, from a business point, I have a certain respect for him.
Business point, I respect him. I can't talk anything political because I don't know anything. Yeah. So, like, that would just be bogus.
Yeah.
In any event, so we're going to dig deep today, bro. Don't get nervous. I'm always going to make sure you shine like a star. So Maddie and I typically have these, like, we meet once a week and we shoot everything. We do the vlog episode, we do the podcast, and then we, like, shoot some other clips, and then in between that, we have therapy. Either he's my therapist some days, I'm his therapist other days. But I still feel like we can go deeper.
Oh no.
So I want to know about the rise of Matt Rodriguez. Like, I want to know, like, you know, from 10 feet under, like, you're not a Long Island guy.
No, I'm not.
You're a transplant.
It all started on a small island called Puerto Rico in the middle of the Caribbean Sea. Or Atlantic Ocean and Caribbean. No, I'm just kidding. So I was born in Jersey. My family's from Puerto Rico. I've been out on Long Island for the past 5 or 6 years.
Stop this for a second.
Yeah.
Can you salsa dance?
I can, but I'm not the best at it, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm not.
Keep going.
It's not really a real discipline of mine. I can do the basics, but I've heard through the grapevine that you're like a beast.
Yeah.
At salsa. So you gotta show me.
I'm a professional, a pseudo professional. But keep going.
Okay, so I'm a Jersey boy, you know, from the beginning, and I'm a transplant. Obviously, I live in Long Island now, and I picked up my camera for the first time about 8 or 9 years ago, not professionally, just to document my journey as a dancer.
So you're obviously a very creative guy. Again, those of you who don't know, you're a nasty breakdancer. Like, I've seen it. It's nasty. You were doing some crazy helicopter shit the other day, and I was like, I would love to do that. So you're amazing at what you do content-wise. Like, what you and I are doing together, I fucking love. You know, just mad respect. Not blowing smoke up your ass, right? That. But it's interesting to see that that wasn't your first love. That wasn't your passion. Your passion was breakdancing.
Yeah, dancing was my passion from a young age.
How did you get into breakdancing? I know that you competed heavily.
Yeah. So I started around 13, 14. Kid in school, he did it, got me onto it, and from there it's like it consumed my life. Like, it's all I wanted to do. So I would be up till like 12, 1 a.m. While kids were partying in high school. I was literally training. So I was sort of an athlete, I guess. Now I look back, kind of just really dedicated to my craft. To the point where my mom is like, you think you have a problem type of thing, but she didn't understand, like, having a passion, you can't stop thinking about it. So then I think within the first 5 years of me breaking, I got my first international trip to travel, compete. I
didn't know this.
In Luxembourg. I don't know if you know where Luxembourg is, like a small country in Europe. Not many people know about it.
That was insulting.
But no one talks about Luxembourg.
Like, I don't know if you know how to spell cat,
but that was my first experience, and I honestly kind of bombed because it was like I was young, and I think I was like 19 maybe, and it was nerve-wracking. I was around heavy hitters, like world-class, dancers, so good experience. And since then, I had several overseas trips. I've won several competitions, but to me, it's not about the wins. It's just like having those experiences, traveling, and train. Like, it's all like the blood, the sweat, the tears, the pains. I mean,
so I got questions.
Yeah.
A, Do you have the same passion for what you're doing now in regards to camera work, social media, and your business that you did for breakdancing?
Yes.
It's the same fire.
Yeah.
So I'm pointing this out because there seems to be like a pattern that I notice with successful people as I talk to them on the podcast or as I talk to them in real life. Like everybody has this, like I'll call it an addiction, right? It's a healthy addiction, right? Everybody seems to have an addiction for, you know, what they do or what they're into, and they take it to like an extreme. And like a lot of people, like your mom, right, who they don't necessarily understand. They're looking at it like, yo, this is obsessive. It's not healthy.
Right.
Whereas that's kind of like, I would argue to say the only way you can achieve something on like a super high level.
100%.
So like that's really what it takes. So it's interesting to see that now your content creating business that stemmed from a love of breakdancing and just wanting to document it is taking off like crazy due to that same kind of fire.
Yeah, and I feel like if you spent that much time getting good at something, you know how to, it's almost like a skill, like you know how to get good at something else if you find interest in it.
Did you come from a creative family or no?
Not really. Like my mom's a teacher. My dad is a truck driver. Like they weren't very, they might have creativity somewhere in their mind, but I just don't know where I could attribute that.
Yeah, I was just curious to know. My point of that is like content.
My ambition is for my mom, 100%.
So content creating is huge, right? Like what you know, the value that you're going to give people during the next X amount of minutes that we ramble on about this and other strange things is like, this is where the world is. Like I'm trying to have conversations with people about it and they're listening to me, but they're not hearing me. It's
right.
like, like I can hear Jimmy. You don't know that movie, do you?
Where is that from?
Oh, forget it. Anyway, White Men Can't Jump.
I've seen that movie, but I was very young and I don't remember that.
So this is, God damn, that was depressing. This is the future. Like if you want to be successful, I was sitting with two older gentlemen yesterday, and I want to buy a property management company, right? We have a significant amount of rentals, and I need someone to manage those. We manage them in-house. It's starting to get a little out of hand. So I'm like, you know what? I would love to buy an property management company with an existing book of business so that I could, make it a revenue source and then manage my own stuff.
All right, smart.
So I started calling around the network, and I had a meeting with two older gentlemen who own a property management company. They're not looking to sell, but I wanted to talk to them because they're just brilliant. Like, this one gentleman managed Kimco's properties, which are a huge national developer, for 30 years. I mean, we're talking about like 30, 40, 50 years of like intense experience. And these guys are like, we want to grow, we want to do more stuff, and we don't want to do it because we have to, because they're retired, they're straight, they have money. They're just like, we love it. Like, we love doing this stuff. We love, like, the deal to this, to that. I'm like, all right, great. Guys, if I might interject and just give you a little something, take it for what it's worth. In order for you to get to the next level, you are going to have to embrace the cell phone. You are going to have to embrace content creating, social media. And while they were listening to me, they weren't hearing me.
Of course.
Right? So, and I've had this conversation over and over and over with people, and I'm like, listen, you guys got to understand, it's a race right now. Mm-hmm. You got to be putting out good content, not noise, not crap, right? Not like shit just to like put stuff out. You got to be putting great quality stuff out so that in a couple years from now, when everyone's just going to the phone for everything, if you don't have that, if you don't have that build up, you're screwed.
Yeah, they're not going to find you.
How do you feel about that?
Well, we've kind of been going that direction for the past few years. It's just like people are really getting more hip to it now, I feel. But we're still like early, if that makes sense. Like we're still in the early adoption phase. Like you're not late making content. You're not late. Like people
no, I don't think
starting now aren't late. It's just a great place to be right now. But in the future, it's kind of like how do I say this? So it's kind of like the real estate game back in the day, like when no one was buying real estate in New York. When I'm talking about like way back, like hundreds of years
1980s.
ago. Right.
Yeah.
When there was like beyond that.
When there was a mass exodus.
Right.
Yeah.
So right now it's kind of like that. It's just like a land grab. Basically, the more you can grab for yourself on different platforms, the better. And everything is like a seed. You post something today and it gets, it can take some time to get traction, but it might get traction 2 years from now, or a future client might see it 5 years from now, and contact you. And I don't think people realize that. Everyone's trying to play the short term, and they're so concerned with, what do I get right now? What do I get right now?
Well, that's our society in general,
It's not about
bro.
the right now. It really isn't. You know, like certain content is about the right now. I'd say like a story, an IG story. People want to keep up with you on the day to day, but when it comes to like YouTube stuff and Instagram posts, those things are gonna live on for a long time.
For literally forever.
Yeah.
Like,
as long as the platforms exist, obviously.
So that's the thing, and I think people have to be really honest with themselves and honest with, you know, what they're putting out and honest with other people, because people get afraid of the internet because, like, yo, like, what could happen here? Mm-hmm. But if you're genuinely a good person, you're genuinely putting out like good content or trying to help people, it's going to be mostly positive.
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you can't make everybody happy all the time. There's always that one miserable asshole who wants to like try to chop somebody down.
There's always someone. Oh, you didn't smile enough, or you didn't. Yeah, it's stupid.
There's always something. But in general, like, do you feel what I'm saying is right? Like, to your point, it's a land grab. It's a race right now.
100%.
Like, everyone, you got to like just put it out there.
100%. But more importantly, it's not like the possibilities are infinite. So you creating content, it's Handsome creating content. It's not like you're not competing with anyone. You know what I mean? Because you're unique to who you are. So
everybody is.
Yeah, everyone is. So I think everyone has, or let me not phrase that. Most people, not everyone has something to say, but everyone does at the same time. Right?
Well, that was going to be my next question. I think, how do you recommend people get started, in the sense that I'll have this conversation with people and I feel like I know what they're thinking, which is, what am I going to say?
Okay.
Right? Like, what do I have to say? Like, I'm a realtor. You know, I'm your average realtor on Long Island. I sell 10 houses a year. You know, what do I have to say? What are people going to want to see or listen to? Like, what do you say to that person as the content creating guru?
Talk about your day. Take people through your day. Take people through the process. Because a lot of times people try to they put too much effort into like coming up with the concept.
Okay.
But the truth is that majority of the things that you do as a realtor or a real estate professional, the average person doesn't know about. So you're just talking about the simple process that you do, or your morning routine, or how do you reach out to leads, how do you source your leads, things like that are interesting. So it's just finding the things that you do on a regular basis, and it's all content. Like, everything you do is basically content. That's my answer. Because to sit here, like, there's things that I do that we do. You know, we could come up with lists of concepts because we do that. But for someone just starting out, it might be overwhelming to have like this list. Oh, how do I formulate all this? And I have to do this. And, you know, we have checklists that we do. But for the person that literally doesn't know where to start, it's start talking about what you do. Like, people need to know what you do. If they don't know what you do and how you do it, or more importantly, if they don't know what you do and that you exist online, they can't find you, so you can't have business.
And that's what I said to these older gentlemen. I said, listen, guys, I feel the passion from across the table. I think you guys are probably the best in property management out there. I'm like, most people I know suck at their job. But the thing is, if nobody knows you exist, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Right? So 2 things to your point before. A, people I think they just have to start making videos and posting them, right? Because that's just part of the process. And let me tell you, you are going to suck. You're going to look like me day 1 salsa dancing, which was the most unattractive thing you've ever seen, right? But video 2, but that's going to be great, because you're never going to suck more than you did on video 1.
Exactly.
Video 2, you're going to be better at. And then all of a sudden, here you are 6 months down the road, like, and everyone's watching, and the business comes in. It actually works. 2, you said something that's very, very important, which was tell people how you source your leads, this and that, right? And then people are like, oh my God. Like, I have real estate brokers, investors, people saying to me like, bro, I don't know what you're doing here, but like, why the hell are you telling everybody what you're doing and how you do it? I'm like, because it's not that easy, man. Exactly. It doesn't matter. It's like, all right, cool. Michael Jordan, you know, practiced for 20 hours a day, shot X amount of free throws. He's the greatest basketball player of all time. Some people might argue with LeBron, whatever. But, like, we all know what he did.
Exactly.
How come there aren't more Michael Jordans or LeBron Jameses in the world?
We saw it out in the open, what he was doing, right?
Exactly. And the thing that I really love about what we're doing is it's cool that it's documenting the process of, I mean, we're at a certain level of success with the houses, but you know, you never got to see a real estate developer turn private equity funder. You never got to see that progression. So I think that's very cool. And I think that's something that people have to understand. Like, everybody walks their own path, right? And everyone's story is uniquely different and interesting.
100%.
So A, it's good marketing for you, and then B, it's really helpful to the next generation or somebody else that wants to get up to see how you did what you did. I think it just makes us all better as people.
100%.
But you're not gonna lose business as a realtor if you're cold calling people or you're doing mailers or whatever. And you're telling people you do that. I guarantee you a million other people have done that shit. You're not reinventing the wheel.
Exactly.
I just think the more information you share about what you do, the better off everybody is. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, so people tend to be very fearful when it comes to sharing certain things, which is understandable on some level, but it's very hard for people to connect with you if they don't feel that you're giving them some kind of value, right? So
of course, and it has to be real.
Exactly. It has to be legitimate, it has to be authentic, and it has to be you. People connect with you. And at the end of the day, it's also not about how many followers you have. Like, people are so focused on, I want to grow. But the truth is that you can upgrade your business just within the current network you have by creating content. Because it feels like there's a lot of times, even in the wedding space, because we post content to our wedding pages and stuff, and people meet me and they treat me as if they already met me before. It's weird. It's weird, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah. No, there's people that I know on social media that say to me, we never met before. And I'm like, bro, I feel like I know you.
Yeah.
Chris Pesci is the number one guy. I've known Chris Pesci for 6 months, never met him before, but I feel like he's my buddy. He's he's a realtor.
Yeah.
It's really strange.
Or they're like, oh, hey, I love that video you did about this or this video. And so it's like they've already built up this idea about you in their head, positive thing in their head about you.
I mean, that's the thing you have to, and this is gonna sound bad, right? But I guess it's superpowers in the right person's hands are great, superpowers in the wrong person's hands. But social media allows you to somewhat manipulate how the world sees you.
100%.
Right? Perception is reality.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it is.
To a degree, though.
I think people can sniff out the bullshit.
Yeah.
I think they definitely can sniff out the bullshit. But in general, I think the more you give away, the more you tell people. I don't think I'm giving away everything. I don't think I'm not going to be able to buy rental houses or apartment buildings or whatever because I told people, how to do the analysis.
Right.
This isn't new. This stuff is, been around forever.
And if that was the case, then how strong is your business if by you giving away some tidbits, you're going to go out of business overnight? Honestly.
I mean, we live in the internet age. There's nothing but opportunity in business.
Everything's a Google search away. It's really that simple.
Preach.
We live in a time where I feel blessed to live in this time. I'm sure you do as well.
100%.
Where you can literally do whatever it is you want to do. Literally.
For no
Scary.
money. For no money. If you want to be a professional musician, all you have to do is get a camera for a couple $100, play, get some free thing online to record it, and you can release it and be huge.
Exactly.
You can have 100 million views in 3 days. It's nuts.
Exactly. And even if you don't, there's still other ways that you can build off of that. Because that's a lot of people they're hell bent on getting those million views and things like that. But it's not the be end all, and it's not the end all be all, whatever. However you say that.
Well, I think it's more important. I would prefer to have 500 dedicated followers that we could really help each other than 10,000 fluff people that just follow me for whatever reason.
Exactly.
Right? It's quality over quantity.
Yeah.
I think a universal point that I think everybody has to think about when addressing anything in their life right now, as far as business, if you're doing marketing stuff, if whatever you're doing, conventional thinking doesn't work.
Exactly.
So just put that in your mind. If you're doing something that's, for the most part, conventional, it's either not going to work, or it's going to be very expensive for what it is, or it's not going to work anywhere near as well as it did 20 years ago. I mean, just look at something as stupid as pay-per-click, Google AdWords stuff.
Mm-hmm. PPC, yep.
For me, and maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. It's possible. I don't think it makes sense.
It depends.
It's really expensive.
It's really competitive now. Yeah.
Super competitive, super expensive, and for that reason, it's not really converting. So if you have a business with a product that's $500 and you have to spend $500 to get a lead, just worth a pay-per-click, it just doesn't make any sense.
No sense at all.
But how much does it cost? I mean, it costs you time and creativity, but how much does it cost to take the phone out of your pocket, take a video, post it on Instagram?
Yeah.
Post it on Facebook.
And then a step further, make a Instagram, promote your Instagram post as an ad, things like that. Super cheap.
So I want you to drop some knowledge on people, bro. I want you to drop knowledge on people. So let's use the scenario of someone who's not really into this. They haven't done it yet, but they know they need to do it, right? I don't think you can hire anybody to do your social media. Like people say, I'll hire someone to do my social media, bro. You can't. It has to be personal. If it's not you, it's not going to work. We already went there, right?
Yeah, I spoke to someone recently, actually at that CE class that you taught.
Okay.
Some guy's like, yeah, I have a company that does my social media.
Bro, it sucks.
I'm like, what?
They post
I pay
flowers
$50 a month. I'm like,
yeah, it's fucking stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
They post like bullshit quotes or whatever.
Yeah, pictures with flowers. It doesn't make sense. So it has to be you. So let's put together kind of like a program or a plan for somebody. You're the average person. You're a realtor. You have a business, whatever it is, right? How are you going to get started? What kind of schedule are you going to put together? What's kind of like a very basic structure to get somebody moving in the social media world? They don't have Instagram. Maybe they have a Facebook. They don't really have any money to spend. What do you say to that person?
Well, first thing is to have the right accounts. You have to be on Facebook and Instagram, but also depends on what their target market is, right?
Okay.
But let's just assume that Instagram is a good option for them because that's where most people hang out anyway.
So at the very least, we're doing Facebook and Instagram.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
What about Twitter? What about LinkedIn?
You could be on Twitter, but I just feel like every platform has its own purpose. Twitter is like more about conversations. It's like where people can come find you to really see your thoughts. So it's pretty cool too, but Instagram is more visual. It's just more engaging. People tend to be more... I know people that are always on Instagram. They don't have a Twitter.
What about YouTube?
YouTube also. YouTube is on another platform. But the reason why I say Instagram is because it has a lower barrier to entry in a sense. Like people feel kind of overwhelmed, like, oh, I have to make this long content for YouTube. But for Instagram, there's like 15-second story. There's a 1-minute clip. There's like less pressure.
I mean, people's attention spans are not that long.
Yeah.
Anymore.
So what I would say for someone that's not doing this and they're trying to do it, for one, it's messaging, right? So when you're on Instagram, your bio is the first thing people see. So they have to know what it is you do. I've seen some people's bio and it's like drawn out. Like it doesn't get to the point. I need to know in 3 seconds, who am I looking at? Why? What is this?
Because of that attention span.
Yeah.
Like,
and then I'm scrolling. I'm trying to see what the content is. But beyond that, you also have to start creating, short videos talking about what you do. Again, stories is a major way to do that, which you do every single day. People are able to follow along, and it just creates an extra layer because we're also creating. We're creating our minute clips and we're creating our YouTube stuff. But the stories, for me, stories are like the best thing right now on Instagram.
So you know who I'm talking about. You listening to this thing, wherever you are, watching us, wherever you are. You don't have a social media presence. You want it. First thing you're going to do, you're going to make sure you have an Instagram and a Facebook.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Then you're going to write a bio, not a dissertation. You're going to think, okay, how do I sum up what I do in a creative way in a sentence or two?
Short and sweet.
Cool.
And also a link. You have to include a link to your portfolio or your work, whatever that may be, or your website. If you're...
What's that thing that we're using now, which is freaking dope, by the way? You have that thing where it says, like, usually people, when we post a video, go to the bio.
The link tree, yeah. There's all kinds of stuff, but essentially it's a link where people go through and it's a separate web page.
What's it called?
It's called Linktree.
Linktree?
Yeah. So it basically has all your featured links. You could feature anything you want, like your videos, your website. Because Instagram only gives you one link, and this allows you to post as
multiple
many things
links
as you want. Yeah.
So
people access it.
Basically, in the bio, you'll click on Linktree, and then it'll kind of break down and show like this vlog, this video. Click here to subscribe to the YouTube. It makes it easy. You got to think about yourself as the consumer, right? What makes it easy for you? What's attractive to you? What's entertaining for you? And first and foremost, I think, and this is really easier said than done, stop giving a shit what people think about you.
That's a huge one.
That's huge. I mean, obviously that's easier said than done. Baby steps here, right? The moment you stop giving a shit about what people think about you, A, the moment you are truly free, and B, is the moment that you take off like a rocket ship.
Exactly. Like Handsome.
You know who flies like a rocket ship?
What?
Captain Permit.
Exactly. I wanted to do
so, and then I think there's always the disparity between people like, how often do I have to post? What do I have to post? And then people get all in their head about it and freaked out.
Keep it simple. you could do 3 times a week. A lot of people suggest daily, but when you're first starting out, I think that's overwhelming because people just don't know what to do. So you could do 3 times a week, and you can juggle between like different categories. So you could say, you know, your hobby, your family, or your career, right?
Okay.
And I tend to juggle between just like hobby and career.
Okay.
Because like those things, because career is like, it keeps it professional, it shows people what you're doing, keeps them engaged in that regard, and also it just speaks to your business. But the other stuff, hobby and family, it allows people to connect with you on a human level because you're not just a business owner. You know, you're a father. You know what I mean? Like, you have hobbies. You have other interests that people can relate to you on. Oh, I didn't know this guy was into this, or I didn't know he was into whatever sport it is. You know, so there's another layer of connection there.
Yeah, it's like what we were speaking of before about like people feeling you know people, and people feeling that they know you.
Exactly.
Just based off your social media about what you're putting out. So like I want to talk about, I guess,
people comment on my breaking videos all the time, like, oh, I didn't know you did that, or
exactly,
that was really cool, you know. And then they're already engaged with you as if you guys are cool, and it's not awkward, you know. So
well, it makes sense. It gives them something to relate to, and vice versa. I want to comment, I guess, on frequency. So if you're just starting out, 3 posts a week at an absolute bare minimum, super easy. I don't want to hear you don't have time. It's super easy. In the middle of your day, you just pull a camera out, make a quick video, 15 seconds, whatever it is. It's going to be something, you know, you're going into a house that you're listing or that you're showing somebody. Oh, look at this house. We're showing it. People are really happy. If you need help finding a house, buying a house, selling a house, call me. Here's my number. Put it up there. Post it in your story, right? But there's like a balance. I think you have to post multiple times a day once you get into it. Like, you know, originally, just get into it. But once you start to like it, you really have to be posting across the different platforms on a daily basis, probably multiple times a day. But don't just put noise out there. Like, there was a guy who I followed the other day, and I went into my, like, what the hell's that thing on IG? Like, when you open it up, there's the news feed, whatever it is. Yeah. You can see how much I know about this stuff.
Your feed.
And the guy had like 15 out of like 22 posts up there as I'm scrolling through. I'm like, all this guy does is like, it's like he has a robot pumping out.
Really?
It was so obnoxious that I unfollowed him.
Yeah, see, you got to be careful not to overdo it.
So there has to be a balance. So for right now, a minimum, you know what? I'm going to up the bar. I'm going to add some juice to what he just said. 1 post a day.
Yeah.
6 days a week, minimum. So if you're an agent, if you're a business owner, if you're someone who wants to get into social media, get Facebook and Instagram first and YouTube, right? YouTube is for the longer clips, Facebook and Instagram for the shorter clips.
But you could do longer stuff on Facebook as well. There's a lot of shareability.
Okay.
But so I just wanted to add, like, there's no perfect strategy, right? It's just about trying to create content on several platforms and have them all link back to one another. So people can be aware. If you're on Twitter, people know that you have an Instagram. If you're on Instagram, people know that you have a podcast. They know you have a YouTube, things like that.
Exactly. The redundancy.
Just integrating everything.
You know, because I don't know if people know this, Google owns YouTube.
Yeah.
Right? Facebook owns Instagram.
Yep.
People start their day with Instagram and Facebook.
It's like the morning paper with their coffee.
Exactly. It is the morning paper of 2019. Very well said. And when you do searches for things, you could search on YouTube. When you search in Google, the YouTube videos that you have helps your ranking.
Yep.
Everything is like super intertwined. So if you're not operating, you have content on all these different platforms, you're not going to get recognized. It's that simple.
Pretty much.
Right?
Yep. I mean, there's people that have built their audience strictly, let's say, on Instagram.
Yeah.
But that's not a good strategy. Like, in business, you wouldn't put all of your money into one, like, real estate deal, right? You have to spread it out. So it's a similar concept. You have to diversify, basically.
Let's talk a little bit about videos versus photos versus just a paragraph that you're writing, right? As far as how much people are engaging with. I'm thinking about my own behavior recently. And you tell me if this is just me, because I'm a little wacky.
Okay.
Which is, I find myself gravitating towards videos.
Right.
Like, I find myself gravitating towards watching a video versus reading a post versus, you know, picture's okay. But like the video thing is really getting me. And I don't know if it's just you and I are doing this or if that's like kind of like a psychological trend that's going on.
Are you saying that you yourself, when you're scrolling, you feel like you're engaging with
I feel that
videos?
I engage with video better than anything else right now.
Yeah, because videos... All right, so any analytics that I look at, whether it's my own or my clients, video always has the highest engagement. Always outperforms photos. For most of the time.
Do you know the stats offhand? No pressure if you don't. I'm just curious
I don't know the stats
how,
offhand.
like, is it
but
like...
it's a large... It's like maybe 60 or 70% like...
higher on the videos.
Higher on the videos.
Is there... Okay, so now we got that. Now let's drill down a little bit more. Is there, just for people to know, is there a certain length of time of video that you feel that people respond to better, or does it just matter what the content is?
It matters what the content is, and I think when you were talking, I was imagining Instagram because that's the stats that I was referring to, and which is all short form video, 60 seconds or less. Although IGTV allows you to do longer stuff, but most people, if they're gonna find your IGTV, it's gonna be through a shorter piece of content that you made anyway.
They're gonna find you what?
They're gonna find your IGTV.
What's an IGTV?
IGTV, for those that don't know,
I don't know what it is.
Instagram has a long form video platform on the back end, right?
Okay. How do you access this?
So
why don't we have one?
If you go to your thing, I'm gonna pull it up right now. Hold on.
Okay.
If you go into your Instagram, hit your home button to your profile.
Okay.
And in the corner, see in the corner right here.
Okay.
There's IGTV. So this is the wedding stuff. This is where I post.
Wait, where do you do this? I don't have this.
You don't have IGTV?
No.
Maybe it's because you haven't posted an IGTV video yet. That has to be it. Because otherwise, yeah, you haven't made an IGTV post.
Okay.
So all right, let me show you an example real quick. Or we'll just go over it. So basically, you can post something to IGTV,
okay,
and have it preview on your as a regular post on the timeline.
Okay.
So people will come across it the way they do your hot take clips.
Okay.
They'll come across that. It'll only play for 60 seconds, but they can keep going. They can click through and continue watching, essentially.
Okay.
So that's IGTV is just a longer form.
So, because I notice, like for example, typically I go to Facebook for everything. Right? Mm-hmm. So I'm looking to hire somebody for Captain Permit to like basically run the administrative back of that. So I'm like, let me test this. So I wrote a paragraph, attention Facebook, looking to hire someone, boom, boom, boom. I got like okay feedback. Then I made like a 60-second video of myself, and I'm like, I'm looking to hire this person. They must be like this, and I posted that. Way, way better. Way more responses. Everything went up.
Okay.
So I just feel like maybe I'm on this kick because you and I are doing all this video stuff, but I feel like I engage with videos better, and I feel like people are engaging with videos better because it's just easy and mindless for them. Like that thing you showed me. What was that thing you showed me yesterday that I bought that I can't figure out how to use about when you do the stories?
Oh, the subtitles. So this app called Caption This. Pretty cool. So you have to. The only thing is you have to record it within the other app first, save it, and then upload.
Yeah, that's the thing I can't figure out.
Oh, I'll show you. Yeah.
All right, cool.
But it's pretty cool because most people watch stories in silent. Like it's midnight.
We're talking Instagram stories here.
Yeah, your partner's sleeping, and you might be just sitting on Instagram. And you're watching it, you're not going to play the sound, right? For the most part. Or you're at work, and you're not going to play the sound. This allows people to know what you were saying because it's adding subtitles as you speak. It's pretty cool. And people have been doing that on video, but now it's automated with this app, which is pretty cool. And there's other apps that do it. This is just the one that I like, that I prefer.
So what are any other apps or programs or kind of cool, unique things that you feel like people should be looking into? That there's new apps that come out every day. Like it's nuts. When you go to the app store, you're like just drowned in all this stuff. Mm-hmm. Like Val always tells me, I got this app to do this. I got this app to do that.
Yeah, he loves apps.
Are there anybody that's first getting into this that feels like maybe there's 3 decent apps that they should be looking at that will help them with their social media or their pictures or their content or anything?
I have several apps that I use. I'll literally just...
and make one of those... I'm sorry, make one of those like a video editing app. I want to talk about that because I feel like a lot of people shoot content, but then they're like, how do I edit this? How do I make it look professional? How do I make it look, like Matt Rodriguez makes it look?
Well, for one, I'll say I tend not to really edit on my phone like that, but I do have applications to enhance or to like change resolution on things like that. Several apps. I mean, there's one called RFV, which basically I just use it to rotate my video to upload it to IGTV, because IGTV only accepts a portrait, ratio up and down. So what I'll do is I'll import the video widescreen, and then I'll just flip it in my phone and I'll upload it to IGTV through that. I mean, there's several apps. You have apps that will, to repost from, if someone tags you in a photo and you want the photo for your thing, there's an app called Repost. So you can grab that.
What does that
bring
do?
It back. That just basically grabs copy the link, and it grabs their post and allows you to post.
They have to tag you, or just put
They don't have to tag you. It could be honestly, you could do it to any post that you want to share on your thing. You could use this app to basically grab their post and put it on Instagram for you.
Oh shit! Yeah, because I always try. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I really want to post that, and I can't figure out how.
Or you could just what I like to do sometimes.
Screenshot it,
and then
edit it. Yeah, but that's a lot of work.
Sometimes, yeah. But there's a lot of. I use all sorts of apps. There's an app called Splice for video editing, but I don't use it that often. Very, very rarely do I use it. I try to do everything on my computer. I just have a lot of shit on here. Unfold is another one for Instagram stories to make them look nice. You could add different frames and insert different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you could add like multiple videos in a frame, and yeah, it's pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff.
So it's like anybody at any age can do this. That's what I'm trying, and you have to do it. Like if you want to stay relevant, you have to do it. Like right now, there's a very big gap. There's a very big disparity between younger people that are super into social media and then older people, and the world is changing, and I feel like soon with the economy probably going south, it's going to be harder for the older generation that isn't communicating with the younger generation. Like the younger generation isn't so young anymore, right? Like millennials are in their mid-30s. These are the people that are buying houses, spending money. If you're a realtor, for example, that is used to sending, posting in newspapers, sending cards, and then putting your face on a bus stop, it's not going to work, because the 35-year-old that's buying a house, and people are buying houses later because they're harder to afford, doesn't communicate that way. They don't read the newspaper. They go to Facebook, they go to Instagram, they go to YouTube, which is why you have to be there.
Yep.
Right? So I want to close out kind of with hit me with like a monologue of the future. Like I want to know how you see the next 3 to 5 years of content creation going. Where do people have to be? What do they have to do? Just how important is this to be relevant and successful?
Okay, so my opinion is that content is going to just become more and more relevant in terms of, for marketing and your business. And it's not so much about the platform, because like a platform could go down one day and we don't know. It could just be done. Like the other day, I think Instagram went down and people were losing their minds.
Yeah.
So it's key.
I couldn't refresh. I was like, what is going on here? And then I realized, I'm like, I have a freaking problem.
Yeah. It was crazy. And I Googled it. I was like, is Instagram down? There's a website that tells you if it's down. But essentially what I'm saying is diversify, because there will be more platforms in the future. I don't know what they are yet, but I'm sure 5-10 years from now, there's going to be different platforms. So the key is to create content and also pay attention to the trends. I would say it's similar to real estate. Like I'm sure there's different trends in the market that you pay attention to, you see, capitalize on it, when to pull back, like things like that. So just pay attention to what's going on, give new platforms a chance, and don't be too married to any one platform.
For me, when I think about it, I'm like, there's just so much shit going on, and nobody has any time because they're running around so busy. Like, is there a place where...
Well, see, that's kind of what the opportunity, right?
Okay.
Since everyone's running around crazy, people are able to put out their opinions and their agendas out. I just wanted to add that, because think about that. There's chaos, right? And then within the chaos, there's people that are creating content, and they're basically leveraging the chaos in a sense, because now people don't have direction. So now people are go to look for the direction. That person's there. So that's, to me, the chaos is like part of the opportunity in a sense, in a weird way. I don't know, that was just a random thought about that.
No, something else that popped in my mind too that I think is really relevant. What do you think about stalking people's Instagrams and Facebooks that are in your space to kind of see what they're doing, see the people that interact with? Like, how can you do that in a positive, not creepy way and help to boost your followers also? Like, if you're a realtor and you're funny and cool and you have 200 freaking followers, right? And you're just getting into this. You go into other realtors or investors or other people that are relevant in the space that would appreciate what you have to say. How do people go about doing that? Because we all do it. Listen, everybody does it. Like almost everybody watches The Bachelor, right? Even they just don't want to admit that they love and watch The Bachelor, right? But everybody goes and like stalks other people's profiles, et cetera, et cetera. How do you use that information to your advantage in a not creepy way?
In a not creepy way?
Yeah.
I mean, people have been stalking each other's social pages for years, even since the MySpace days.
It's human nature.
So it is definitely, curiosity is human nature. But yeah, you should kind of, there's nothing wrong with knowing what your competitors are doing. Just don't get caught up in it. You know, like don't you see your competitors doing something, so now I have to do it. Like, no,
yeah.
You can't let it influence you too heavily. You have to stay on track and just be aware of what's happening. And there's nothing wrong with checking out competitors' page, I feel. You know, I think you learn a lot by doing that.
Do you recommend like following influential people that follow them, or engaging with them, or leaving comments on their pages?
Yeah, you can leave comments on their pages. You can see who's following them and leave comments on their pages.
But leave your opinion, right?
Yeah,
don't just
but be constructive. Don't just put an emoji or, definitely don't put negativity or hate.
It's like when I used to be dating on Match.com back in the day, which was fucking awesome, right? So Match.com has that feature. You don't know about this because you're like...
I've never been on Match.
Quick, I heard this story, which is like... Matt, like when you meet Matt, you're going to see him talk, he's smooth. He's smooth. He's breakdancing. He's spinning on his head. He's Latino. He's got that smooth kind of suave look. Word on the street, he's got a hammer in his pants. But he tells me about the story about how he met his wife, and he's like breakdancing, spinning on his head, and then he goes and pulls the move, like hands to the camera, hands to his phone, say, "Hey, listen, can you video this?" Like, he's just that guy.
So that is how we met. I wasn't doing any of this when we met, and it really was an innocent, "Can you please record this?" thing, because no one else was there to record. So, and then, "Can you text it to me later?" That might have been a little slick move.
That was definitely slick.
But beyond that, I mean, we didn't hang out probably for the first time for like months later, and then the rest is history.
And now she works with you, which is very cool.
Yeah, she's actually a really good photographer, and she kind of has that addiction to her craft that we were just talking about. She's like very passionate about what she does, and I like that. So.
Which is very cool. I mean, and that says volumes for just like how you guys click. Because it's one thing to be in a relationship with somebody. It's another thing to work with them.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. On a daily basis. And it's very cool. Like, I'm jealous of the fact that, like, she does exactly what you do, so she can relate to that, like, fire. Mm-hmm. And you guys speak the same language of, like, art and passion and photography and video. And together you, like, make these beautiful pictures, videos together. Like, it's making me, like, tingly below the belt. So if people want to get, I know you guys do everything. Obviously, you do video for companies of all sizes, right? All the stuff that we're doing together. You shoot weddings, any kind of like photography, any kind of videography. The cooler, the better. You're always looking to push the limits. If people want to do something just chill, you can do it. If someone wants to go crazy like the Handsome Homebuyer, you got what he needs or what they need. So how do people follow you? How do people get in touch with you if they need you?
I can be reached on Instagram at MATTR Visual. That's MATTR Visual. And also my wedding brand is Silent Capture Photo on Instagram or anywhere pretty much. So
email, you prefer people go through social media?
Yeah, or my email is info@mattervisual.com. So that's my email. That's my preferred method of contact, yeah.
All right. So with that, that's a wrap. Before we're out of here, you know who's also smooth? You know who's also suave? You know who could also break dance possibly even better than Matt and then pick up the hottest girl in the room? Captain Permit. 516-513-8838. And if you have something you want to sell real estate related, I want to buy it. 516-777-SOLD. That's a wrap.
Orgulloso estoy de mi herencia judía.
Benjamín Lev, Ben Shlomo, cuando me llaman